My name is Neva, and I am a singer-songwriter. I started playing guitar when I was about 9 years old. Started singing, about the same time. Probably a little earlier, but I don't know if that stuff counts. And yeah, I've been writing songs since I was about 12 and performing since I was 12 as well. Moving further from my home. I was introduced to music at a very young age. My parents had this cover band that they would play at weddings and corporate events. So we also had a music studio in our house. Drums, bass, everything set up all the time. So as a kid, I would go down there, and that was sort of my playground. I would go into the studio and bang on the drums and then, try to play the bass and play the guitar and pretend like I was singing and, do all this stuff. So I kind of grew up in this musical environment. And I run when I'm supposed to be standing still, searching for uncertain things. I need something new to feel. I guess the most exciting thing that's going on with my career right now is I have a new album coming out. It's been about a year in the works, and I think most musicians know that we always underestimate the actual cost of putting out a high-quality album. And so going into it, I created a Kickstarter campaign and raised over $19,000 in 31 days to fund the whole project. And yeah, it was the most stressful 31 days of my life by far. It's all right. Said it's all right. The new album is, although all the songs are all written by me as well as my last album, this one is a little bit different because I kind of set out to make a more acoustic album, which is how I primarily perform, kind of acoustic solo. So we were going to put some light percussion on it and have it be really minimal, and one thing led to another, and now it's like, an acoustic guitar, electric bass, and like a wall of percussion. So, but it's not overkill. It's really exciting to hear all of this stuff come together because we recorded the album in layers, and we really weren't sure how it was going to turn out, how the final product was going to turn out, because we don't have 10 percussion players to rehearse with. So we layered everything in the studio, recorded all the percussion, and honestly, we couldn't be happier with the way it's turned out. One of my favorite things about the creative process is that it's always a surprise, in a sense. For me anyways, it very rarely comes out the way that I thought it was going to. Whether it be I'm recording at my house by myself, or whether I'm playing with somebody else. I have this whole, a lot of musicians get this whole vision of what it's going to sound like and the whole vibe that's going to, it's going to take place. And a lot of times when you bring another person into that as a factor, it changes everything, which is the coolest thing about performing with other people. It's like this synergy. In the past, all my songs have really come from life experiences. I know a lot of musicians that, write these stories based on other people and write these songs based on ideas, which I was always kind of jealous of. I always envied that a little bit. I respected that, admired that. But for me, it's always been these personal experiences that I've had that have, fueled songs and creativity out of me. I was diagnosed with kidney disease in 2008, and the condition slowly progressed, and about a year ago is when they said, okay, you need to start looking for a donor. And at first I didn't want to post anything online, and put it out there. I don't want to air out my dirty laundry, and I felt really vulnerable. But at the same time, I realized that I needed to reach out to my friends and my family and let them know what was going on. And ultimately, I did need to find a donor. and I wasn't going to find one if I didn't ask, or if I didn't at least bring it up. So I created a group on Facebook and invited my friends if they wanted to come join this group, where I would give them information on how they could be a donor. And so I did that, and about 8 people filled out the paperwork, which was overwhelming to me that people were willing to do that. It's no small feat, you know. So the girl that the hospital wanted to go with was a friend from high school, my friend Heidi. And, you know, we were good friends in high school, but kind of lost touch along the way. And, you know, kept in touch here and there just through Facebook. And so she filled out the paperwork, and I'll never forget the day that she told me that she was a match. You know, she went through all the testing, and we were kind of waiting to see if she was a match. And finally she called me and said, you know, I'm a match. And I said, what? Are you sure? Yes. Are you positive? Yes. They told you? Yes. Do you still want to do it? Yes. And then I just lost it. Just started bawling my eyes out, crying. And I think it was at that moment, I never realized how much the kidney disease was weighing on me until the weight was lifted off. It's been distracting, and I think that because I'm a musician and because I release my emotions through songs, and having been so out of touch with my emotions during this experience has made it really hard for me to finish a song. But I tell you, it's building up, and I feel like I'm ready to explode with a whole new album all at once. It's just not quite there yet. I feel like I'm going to be so much more creative because I have a lot of stories to tell. That makes you uncomfortable. So I have this song called Uncomfortable, and I have merchandise that says "Get Uncomfortable," you know, across the front of the t-shirt. And the whole point behind that is that I believe that when people get uncomfortable, when they get outside of their comfort zone, that's when you can really grow. You know, and it's obviously uncomfortable to do that, and it's unnerving and it's uncertain, but it's when you step into that kind of unknown place and you really push yourself, whatever it is, you know, that you can actually grow. And that's when people are happiest, when they're progressing in life, when they're growing. So get uncomfortable, push yourself, grow, get happy, progress, you know, that's where that comes from. And I need to heed my own advice. We all do, I think, but yeah, that's something I'm constantly working on, is pushing myself outside of my comfort zone.